Manhattan, Kansas, USA. A nationally recognized city, our town was selected as All-American City for 1952 by the National Municipal League, Look Magazine, and Reader's Digest for effective citizen action during the year following the flood of 1951. Today we have a pleasant flood of color and gaiety in our town. The parade of bands marching along Points Avenue toward City Park. About 20,000 fans are here to see the parade, attend the football game, 2 fraternity blowouts, Parents' Day, and enjoy the activities of our town. Everyone loves a parade. The color, the music, the spirit, and the fine showmanship is truly inspiring. Our town has had a dramatic history since the first town site was located here in 1854. Originally called Poliska, it was then combined with nearby Canton to be called New Boston. Then finally, on June 4th, 1855, New Boston became Manhattan, the name of which we are duly proud. Visitors from all over the state watch 2,600 band members from 43 different high schools show off their talents. The photographers are busy too. Cameras are clicking all along the streets as well. This is something we'll want to remember. We can look down our streets with real pride in our town, for in 1951 there was nothing but devastation. In these few short years, we've built almost a new town. Our storefronts are new, our streets are newly paved, our homes are rebuilt, and we are once more able to laugh and work toward a continuing better future. Some of the people who are out on the street today watching this parade are responsible for the rebuilding of our town. Today, we can welcome people from all over with pride in our accomplishments. Photographer Richard Kill, city editor Jack Woodman, and Maureen Bart of the Manhattan Chronicle are on hand to get that story for the late edition. It's wonderful to see all the familiar faces watching the parade, isn't it? After the parade, the bands are served refreshments in the park by the Chamber of Commerce. They don't look quite as neat as they did in their marching lines, but they deserve to let down after such a good show. By now they're mighty hungry too, but happy, because each year they look forward to this trip, where they have a chance to compete for the unofficial popularity poll on Band Day in Manhattan. They're a nice group of young people, and this competition gives them an opportunity to get together with students from other schools, exchange ideas, and broaden their circle of friends. Let's just see how many faces we recognize. Our town has a fine stadium. There's nothing livelier than an enthusiastic crowd on game day. And today, the largest cheering section is the parents who have come to Kansas State to visit on campus and spend the day with their student's son or daughter. Football's an invigorating sport. It is one that requires physical coordination and some pretty fast thinking as well as running. But the most important part of the game is that it teaches teamwork. Here, there are no stars. One man cannot function alone. He may run faster or be able to kick farther, but he needs the team to make it possible for him to perform any of these tasks. Here is where understanding and sportsmanship count. You can't always win. You have to learn to take your losses as graciously as you take your winnings. A good lesson for later in life when things can get tough, and it isn't just a game. The description of the game, the band between halves, all this is broadcast through the Kansas State Network and received in your own homes from our own station, KMAN. Of the thousands of Riley County radio families, 98.2% listen to KMAN daily as the Voice in the Valley reports local, state, national, and world news, as well as sports and farm news. We listen as KMAN brings us all kinds of music to suit our personal taste, interesting drama, and worthwhile children's programs. Since 1950, KMAN has served as a welcome local voice to keep us well informed, well entertained, and aware of the happenings in the world. There are 10 news shows a day. Remote units cover area national events. They serve you from sunrise to sunset. KMAN serves an area populated by 280,000 Kansans. Surveys show that KMAN visits over 62,000 homes daily in 14 counties. Wide area coverage and profitable results at low cost have made this your station for local as well as for national advertisers. We are very proud to have in our town one of the finest educational institutions in the country. Kansas State College of Agriculture and Applied Science was founded in 1863. The college owns many acres of land devoted to educational and experimental work. This gives the student an opportunity to apply the information to actual practice from the courses that he or she has chosen. Besides agriculture, courses are offered in engineering, veterinary medicine, general science, and home economics. This is called an analog computer. To put it in everyday language, it's an electronic brain, built and maintained by Kansas State. It has the ability to calculate the strength or stability of a structural arch that might be used in bridges or other architectural designs. Aircraft vibration problems are also worked out on this instrument. This is another of the practical applications of the actual scientific machinery that are used in the engineering department by people like J.E. Wolf and Philip Kermser of Kansas State. In this electronics era, there is still much to be explored, and it is toward this that Kansas State is giving practical application to a group of young people in the process of learning who may one day be our important scientists. The flashing, colorful neon lights make a pretty pattern of our town at night, for our town is a busy, bustling place with a variety of stores to choose from. Well-selected merchandise in all price ranges make it easy for us to keep well-dressed and our homes well-supplied. There's plenty of traffic in our town, but it keeps moving, and we all manage to get our missions accomplished. When nightfall descends on our town, most of busy Manhattan starts to relax. This is the night we promise to take the girls to the movies. This is the night that Junior needs the car for a date. Many of us will want to see our favorite movie, or give Mom a break and take our evening meal in the pleasant company of our friends and neighbors. No cooking, no serving, no washing dishes tonight. If Junior has the car, no need to worry. Why, we'll take a yellow cab. And where shall we go? Shoes Cafe, of course, where the whole family is welcome. In the pleasant, comfortable atmosphere of Shoes Cafe, there's always a wide selection in the choice of foods. Here, cleanliness and cheerful service are in order. Youngsters like to eat here, besides having a choice of all the novelties they can't ask for at home. They're easily managed by Mom and Dad because they get such fast service they don't have time to get into any mischief. They also are so interested in the goings-on around them. It's a real treat. Mom likes it, too, because the food is good, well-seasoned, and she can choose from a wide variety. Dad says they can do it often because the food is reasonably priced, and he likes to give Mom a change from her everyday chores. Here you're likely to meet some of your friends and have some pleasant chats while you spend your meal times at Shoes Cafe. The Manhattan Yellow Cab Company is another service that Shoes operates for the community. There are 10 yellow cabs with drivers on duty 24 hours a day to serve you. With complete two-way radio service, they're able to reach you anywhere in town with the least possible delay. Their outstanding record of safety, with no serious accidents, is another reason that our town is glad to have such dependable and important service like the Yellow Cab Company. They're dispatched by radio from the central office in the heart of the city. The drivers are courteous and helpful. They will see to it that you have a comfortable and relaxed ride and reach your destination promptly. The name Shoes represents efficient and practical service to our town. With a fine restaurant that the whole family will enjoy, a fleet of yellow taxis to get you where you want to go, when you need them, plus Farrell's service station, whose one-stop service is also provided in conjunction with Shoes Cafe. A night out on the town can be a pleasure for everyone. One of our town's oldest institutions is the Union National Bank, known among Manhattan and rural residents as a friendly bank. These friendly men are the board of directors of the Union National Bank. They welcome an opportunity to help solve any of your financial problems, no matter how large or small. They aim to be your good neighbors. They're here to discuss your problems in relationship to the financial well-being of the farmer, merchant, and manufacturer of our town, and to be able to continue to ensure low rates of interest on loans to further the enterprises in our town. Here is the familiar lobby where you can recognize the faces of people who have been serving you courteously and continuously for many years. Here in the bookkeeping department of the Union National Bank, our own local girls are seen operating the machinery that records and tabulates the deposits that you make through the teller's windows. This machine records the number of checks handled, the amounts of your deposits, and the total amount of money transactions that have been carried on through the working day at the Union National Bank. Take Highway 13 south out of our town, a few miles into the Blue Stem Hills, and you come to the 1,000-acre ranch of Mr. and Mrs. Walter O'Neill. Mrs. O'Neill walks out for her morning mail, and on her way she's reminded of the life-size replica of a bull which she sculptured. She's made more than 100 of these cement animals to represent the Herefords which she and Mr. O'Neill have been raising on their ranch. Today they have 119 registered Hereford cattle of breeding age. The ranch and Herefords are all theirs. The O'Neill story is interesting because it is so typical of the many people in and around our town who met the problems of building a future with foresight and fortitude. The O'Neill herd was started 43 years ago when Walter, a hard-working, straight-thinking farm boy, still helping the folks at home, persuaded his dad to let him invest in a registered Hereford heifer. All that Walter owned at the time were 3 steers, and he gladly traded them in for the heifer of his dreams. The heifer grew into a highly productive cow and lived for 17 years. Walter kept every one of her calf heifers. Today, the herd's females are all descendants of the original heifer. He never has purchased any other females. Herefords have been his major source of income, and these same Herefords have paid for every one of the 1,000 acres on which they graze. Mr. Walter O'Neill is grateful. This is a sugarcane field growing right here in our town. Walter O'Neill uses a mixture of sugarcane and corn grown together to feed the cattle he raises here on the ranch. Mr. O'Neill does an unusual thing for this part of the country. He still drives mules rather than tractors. He prefers mules because he says they don't pack the ground down, and the unpacked ground allows the rain to run off the furrows where the roots of the crop are. The farm and ranch lands around our town are something of which we are very proud. Everyone has a theory or two about how to work the land, how to feed cattle, but as long as we show improvement and work with it, we can be sure that we will continue to have successful farms and ranches in our area. The chief resources of our town are its fertile soil and its favorable climate. We have a very healthful climate, chiefly because of its dryness. Our state is one of the great agricultural and cattle-raising states in the country. Our town contributes greatly to the reputation of our state. We are proud of the many people who further the universal reputation we have made through our progressive and sound ideas. This sign spells out the name of an organization of farmers, in which the membership of 105 Kansas County Farm Bureaus work together to solve farmers' problems. It also spells out a story of progress, here explained to a friend by Mr. Ralph Snyder, first president of the Kansas Farm Bureau, which started in the Ulrich Building in 1919 and continued in the Eagles Club Building, the Waters Hardware Building, and the Wareham Building, to the present new quarters of the Kansas Farm Bureau and its associated insurance service companies on Anderson Avenue, just northwest of the college. The state of Kansas is divided into 10 Farm Bureau districts, from which are elected 10 state board members. The Riley County Association, sharing offices with the general agent for the insurance services, is typical of all Farm Bureau offices throughout the state. The membership record section of the organization department keeps a separate record card for each of the almost 68,000 members throughout the state. Eight field men, under the supervision of an organization director, give administrative assistance to the farm bureaus in the various districts. This kind of field work keeps the association in constant touch with the farmer and his problems. The farmer's welfare is closely tied in with each new legislative enactment. The average farmer doesn't have the time to read every new law and interpret what it means for his future. The Farm Bureau's Legislative Research Department does this for him. Through active county policy committees, it has helped to create an awareness among the members of the Farm Bureau and a desire to participate in state and national politics so that the farmer side of the story can be best presented to the state or national legislators. Farm men and women are truly partners in this business of farming. Women are vitally interested in everything which encourages and promotes better living for our farm families. And they keep the Andrew Shearer Memorial Library, named after one of the early Farm Bureau leaders, filled with fine books. Young people throughout the state get information, guidance, and encouragement from the Farm Bureau's Rural Youth Department. 16 rural youth groups were started in 1954 alone. The Rural Youth Group in Kansas is a testing ground for developing leadership ability. And our young people learn to do by doing and learn to lead by leading. Farm Bureau News keeps the members completely informed on every important happening or development that might affect their welfare. All publications used by the Farm Bureau and the service companies, except the Farm Bureau News, are printed in this modern printing plant. Addressograph plates, kept accurate by constant check with the Membership Records Department, are used to send publications to all Bureau members. In this way, the farmer is kept continuously in touch with happenings throughout the area he is working in and the rest of the state. Employees of the Farm Bureau are able to eat at very reasonable prices in the spacious 175-seat cafeteria, which is operated on a non-profit basis. Staggered lunch hours permit everyone to receive prompt service. Helping farmers to make the public more aware of certain products through advertising and public relations programs is the job of the Farm Bureau's Commodity Department. And the varied activities of the Safety Department have contributed greatly to the fact that Kansas has led all states in the reduction of farm accidents for 5 years. But no matter how careful we may be, there are times when things just happen. And it is at those times that insurance provides the security that all is not lost. The farmer of Kansas had wanted and needed an insurance program designed for his needs, not the city dweller. And Farm Bureau Mutual provided the answer in 1938. In 16 years of operation, this organization has grown beyond the fondest hopes and imagination of the Farm Bureau leaders who started it. The feverish activity in this mailroom is some indication of the need which has been filled by this service of the Farm Bureau. Mail is received here daily from Farm Bureau members all over the state of Kansas. It is dated, classified, and sent on to the proper department for action. Correspondence pertaining to accident claims are sent to the claims department, who review the policy for payment of damages. The Fire and Wind Department was started in 1950. After 3 years of operation, this department was able to declare a 20% dividend on an average annual 3-year premium. For in Farm Bureau Mutual, the policyholder is in effect a part owner of the company. Better than that, he shares in its good fortunes only, for this company is a non-assessable mutual company, and the policyholder is not held responsible for any financial deficits. Seven district underwriters are assigned to certain sections of the state, and they handle all forms of business coming in from their districts through the county general agents. They process new applications for auto, truck, or farm liability insurance and take care of any changes policyholders might wish to effect in their existing policies. The Policy Service Department at Farm Bureau Mutual is a busy place. 140,000 policies extending protection to Farm Bureau members all over the state of Kansas are either issued or kept up to date in this department. For the coverage available through Farm Bureau Mutual is quite varied. Fire protection is extended to farm buildings, homes, household goods, crops, whether in the field or while they are being stored after harvesting, and lightning protection for cattle. What started only 16 years ago as a service to provide Farm Bureau members with inexpensive automobile insurance has now grown to full-fledged maturity in the insurance industry. Farm Bureau Mutual is a pioneer in the Kansas Farm Insurance Program and features $10 deductible coverage on collision losses. As a pioneer, it has struck out with courage and determination to give its farm policyholder the protection which his vocation demands. These files contain the listings of each of the company's 140,000 policyholders, listed alphabetically according to name, town, county, policy number, and type of property insured. The system provides a ready reference on any policy mentioned in correspondence, and it's a great help when a policyholder forgets to note the policy number in a communication to the company. For the policyholders in these files, Farm Bureau Mutual paid claims in excess of $3 million for 1954, an average of 445 individual claims a month. Throughout the state of Kansas, there are 26 claims representatives making weekly visits in each county to assure prompt claims service. To utilize storage space and conserve man-hours, thousands of documents are photographed on microfilm. It also assures permanent safekeeping of company records. Completely automatic IBM machines at Farm Bureau's new home take the drudgery out of selecting a single applicant or a policy number from the files. These ingenious machines also sort, collect, and reassemble into many classifications the cards that are required to be filed after they are used for reference. This speeds up the operation at Farm Bureau Mutual and allows for less man-hours of work to keep your policy in perfect, up-to-date order. This time saving also reduces the company's operating costs, and it permits payment of greater dividends to its policyholders. Just another example of the Farm Bureau's efforts to provide more tangible benefits for its members. Employees of the Kansas Farm Bureau Mutual, and Kansas Farm Life are the working tools of the Board of Directors in the promotion of the Farm Bureau program determined by the membership. Regular staff conferences of managers and their assistants provide the proper coordination necessary for successful operation of the home office of the state organization and its affiliated service companies. The sales staff is the backbone of any company, and much time and money is spent at Farm Bureau to develop and train efficient and aggressive field personnel. These are the men who can put in simple words the many phrases in an insurance policy that we usually refer to as the fine print. And it is through their ability to honestly appraise the farmer's insurance problems that the many benefits are derived from the Farm Bureau's services. It is through men like this that the Kansas Farm Life Insurance Company, another important service of the Kansas Farm Bureau, has been able in the short space of 7 years to put into force almost $50 million worth of life insurance. Here at the Kansas Farm Life Insurance Company, you can see how a death claim is processed. The manager's secretary brings in the notification of the death of a policyholder, and she is instructed to get the case file. This is the first step in the realization of the tangible benefits of life insurance. The file clerk gets the case file, and with the claim papers attached, it is then turned over to the medical director. If the death certificate and other papers are in order, the medical director gives his approval. Then the agent and the beneficiary are notified that the claim has been approved, and in due course, the check is written and mailed to the beneficiary. Every part of the Farm Bureau's operation points to the maintenance of a personal company. Its success to date can be largely attributed to the fact that many people believe this is their company, and the company's operations are geared to the personal needs and feelings of every policyholder. Decentralization of county offices helps considerably to sustain this personal feeling among the policyholders. The whole picture of Farm Bureau activities is one framed by a network of farm families closely linked by a common bond of mutual helpfulness. It is a picture which, like our town, expands with time and matures with experience. We in Manhattan are glad to watch that growth right here in our town. We are fortunate in our town to have the Capital Air Service. Owned and operated by Nick Dellery, it is at your service 24 hours a day. You can fly air taxi anywhere in the United States and Canada. You can hire a charter plane, an air ambulance, or just take your own plane up for lessons or a joyride. Capital Air Service does a good maintenance and service job and has a spacious hangar to house all the planes. Many of us have watched the planes take off and land, but we haven't had the pleasure of seeing what our town looks like from the air. Mr. Dellery has loaned us pilot Larry Van Meer of Manhattan to take us on a town tour. From up in the air, the airport looks as efficient as it is on the ground. The places we know so well begin to take shape in the distance. Let's see if we can identify some of them. Everyone who's flown knows the joy of seeing these letters as they prepare to land. This is the famous junction of the Kaw River with the Blue River, where our history first joined two villages into what it is today, our town. A welcome sign to all who would stop here. Our town's historical Turtle Creek Dam. The beautiful modern Farm Bureau building. Our pride in the splendid Kansas State College is as great up in the air as on its own grounds. The layout as we see it from the air is efficient and makes for easy access from building to building. Everything is there for the students' comfort and convenience. The grounds are vast, but the arrangement of the buildings makes it a short walk between them to go to classes, which are scheduled within a particular group of buildings. The downtown and residential districts are not too far apart, but just far enough to give us more quiet at home and less traffic danger for the little children who still play out of doors in front of our house. The new city auditorium is impressive, and it's nice to have the city park and pool right across the street from it, so conveniently located. Recognize the high school and the field where we've seen some mighty good sports played by the youngsters of our town? This is home for many of us, with lovely grounds and cozy houses. Here is where some of our loved ones are resting. Why, there's Little Aggieville, the commercial section near the college. Isn't it nice to see the country club with all its facilities laid out for us in the pattern as we see it from the sky? It's easy to see why the younger set in our town went for the new outdoor swimming pool last summer. It looks good enough to dive into even from up here. Back down on the ground, we can see why people from as far as Wichita like to come to our town's country club. It's a good place to bring friends for an active and pleasant day. Dad finds this a wonderful place to relax. Here, where he tries out his game on the boys. He has to bring in a low score now that he's boasted of the last one. But don't think that Mother doesn't have her day. Every Wednesday is Ladies' Day, and the 150 participating members use the club for all types of social gatherings, like engagement and wedding receptions, coming out parties, and charitable affairs. Bridge Club is held the first Wednesday of every month. It's lively and it's fun at the country club. For 35 years, the Manhattan Motors Incorporated has been selling new Buicks and Oldsmobiles, as well as warranted used cars in our town. Whether you prefer the new Buick, which has been completely restyled and importantly re-engineered for 1955, or the Oldsmobile 88, which rockets into 55 with flying colors and is new all around with that go-ahead look, you can always be sure of a good buy at Manhattan Motors. There are 30,000 feet of floor space from which to service your car quickly and efficiently. A well-trained staff of 25 of your neighbors is on hand to see that all makes and models of cars are in perfect condition before they leave the shop. If you get into trouble, a service truck is ready to haul you in or fix you up on the road. Used cars are reconditioned at Manhattan Motors, where service and sales to your satisfaction is their motto. Manhattan is proud of its police force. It is constantly on the alert and always working on possible problems that could arise in any town of our size. Here the inspector is lecturing on criminal types and the classification of these in relationship to police work. This is one of the best policed cities of its size in the United States, with a minimum number of crimes per capita. Its regular training programs and educational features for the force come into active use in emergencies. The 52 flood saw an evacuation and rescue done so fast that there were no casualties. Targets and men on the firing line attest to the constant practice that keeps our excellent police force ready for any eventuality. Undesirable citizens wouldn't deliberately put themselves in the way of a straight-shooting, well-trained police force like this, so we can rest assured that these fine men who participate wholeheartedly in a well-contrived program toward law and order will not allow our town to be troubled with violence or any unpleasant incidents if their firing arm can avoid it. Yes, we can be proud of an ever-ready police force to serve us and our town. When you want complete news, you want the Manhattan Mercury. Managing editor Bill Colvin and Fred German discuss news coverage and announcements put over a client's sale. The news staff is busy gathering local and world news reports for your daily edition of the Manhattan Mercury. Ralph Stewart is busy making up the familiar page 1 of the Manhattan Mercury, while Everett Stilley, pressman and stereotyper, makes the stereograph to ready the paper for the daily edition. The Mercury not only carries local news, but covers latest sports events, national and international news, beef market, and grain quotations. A lot goes into the makeup of a newspaper. It isn't as simple as it seems to us when we read it over our coffee. A hard-working group of qualified and experienced townspeople put in long hours with plenty of headaches to see that we get the best of the day's news and feature stories that make up the Manhattan Mercury. In order to mold the plate from hot lead so that it'll fit into the press, the lead is poured into a paper mat, which molds the impression of the type and photographs or drawings, which will appear on the front page of the paper. We are fortunate in our town to have the Manhattan Mercury to keep us in close touch with world happenings. We can sit in our own hometown and know what's going on in Korea or Chicago. A newspaper is an educational organ. Its function is to bring us the news and let us digest it, discuss it, and decide the real issues for ourselves. The Manhattan Mercury is our paper to broaden the scope of our knowledge of world happenings, to learn the issues of our day, and to enjoy the personal touches that keep us informed of who's who and what's what in our town. Automatic linotype sets the type for insertion into the page bank. The presses are automatically operated. Tape is cut beforehand when the news comes into the newsroom from the International News Service. It is edited and then handed to the linotyper, where it then goes through the process you are watching. This is your Manhattan Mercury, hot off the press, a service to our town. You're headed for a grand adventure when you try the '55 Ford. For many years, Skaggs Motor Company and Ford have been doing business in our town. Skaggs still keeps the old model they were selling when you bought your first Ford, but today they have the newest 1955 styles for you to select from. The women want the new '55 Ford because it has such sleek, low styling. It comes in such intriguing color combinations, too. The menfolk like the new Speed Trigger Fordomatic drive for quicker starts, the tubeless tires that give puncture and blowout protection, the turbo-action spark plugs that resist fouling up, all features of the '55 Ford. Whether you're in the market for a new Ford or you just need your old car tuned up, Skaggs Motor can give you the kind of efficient and reliable service you've come to depend upon at Skaggs. Top quality used cars are a feature at Skaggs Motor Company, so for a new Ford, a repair job, or a used car, try Skaggs Motor Company. Manhattan is justly proud of its more than 35 churches representing all faiths and serving the spiritual needs of our people. We are pleased with the good attendance of both young and old at our fine services. It demonstrates a community spirit of all denominations. The many lessons we learn and the wide guidance we receive from our spiritual leaders is important in our town, for it is through our spiritual relationships that we learn how to get along with our fellow men, how best to serve the community, and how best to achieve peace in our time. We take pride in our farmlands and pastures, and sometimes realize the hard work it takes to bring us the produce that builds the strong bones and teeth in our bodies. Milk is an essential in our everyday food consumption. The Chapel Dairy in Manhattan has been buying from neighboring farms like Don Woods, who maintains a dairy herd of grade A producers, for the past 12 years. 30 cows, all registered and inspected regularly by the health authorities. Scientific milking methods make it easier on the cows and a much simpler procedure for the milker. At Chapel Creamery Incorporated, as the milk arrives from the farm, it is conveyed inside the plant, weighed and sampled for flavor and richness. Then the milk flows through sterile stainless steel tubes into storage tanks. In these spotlessly clean rooms, the products that you buy from your favorite grocer are processed. The cans that come in from the farm are sterilized before being sent back for refilling. Some of the milk is set aside to become the delicious ice cream you expect from Chapel Dairy. The remainder goes to the pasteurizing equipment. Almost immediately, the milk is placed into a high-temperature, short-time pasteurizer. This sealed unit pasteurizes the milk in less than 20 seconds, lowering the bacteria count most effectively while preserving that fresh flavor we enjoy in Chapel Dairy products. Here, the milk is homogenized to ensure you of that top-quality, grade A product you expect from Chapel's. When the milk has been pasteurized, enriched, cooked, cooled, and completely processed, it arrives at the cartoning machine. This machine is fully automatic and the milk is never exposed to the air. As you see, this machine opens the cartons, and after the milk has been automatically poured into it, it is crimped and stapled to protect the pouring lip until it is opened at your own table. Here at Chapel's Dairy, the ice cream and other dairy products are handled in the same clean, efficient way that you have come to expect of our neighbors who work here to give us their fine products. Chapel's milk products are picked up from the farms daily, brought in for processing, and returned ready for your table to your favorite grocer the same day. This means that Chapel Dairy Company gives you dairy products really from the farm to your table with no lapse of time. This is your guarantee from Chapel of the freshest, purest milk products that you can buy. The Chapel Dairy Company is another of the fine business operations that has grown with our town and of which we are duly proud. Our fire department is always on the alert for the first signal of danger to our town. We still remember their great emergency service during the flood in 1952. There were many individual acts of heroism, but as a group, they functioned to evacuate and give comfort to those who needed their help without thought of their own danger. Since a great number of our buildings are now fireproof, and since we're educated to take care where the danger of fire is possible, the death ratio from this danger is down to a minimum. We always maintain a well-equipped and well-manned staff of experts for the emergencies that arise. There are still plenty of unexpected happenings for which our fire department is called on. New quarters are being provided for the fire department when the administration building is completed on Points Avenue, opposite the city park. There are 18 full-time men on duty now, half of these service by day, the other half by night. They are our protection while we work or sleep, against damage to our lives or property. Whether you're 5 or 50, there's a strange fascination about following the fire engines and watching these capable men at work. Where there's smoke, there's fire, they say. But here we have only a demonstration of a practice drill. Let's watch it. Besides the regular hook and ladder, we're fortunate in our town to have the equipment for handling emergencies that arise as a side issue to fires. There's a specially trained crew that removes any victims of smoke and carries them out to the waiting equipment that will resuscitate them. Oxygen to revive a victim is carefully handled by this crew until everyone is all right again. Yes, we can feel secure in the knowledge that our fire department knows its job and protects us and our town. Among the business institutions that have withstood the rigors of time is the First National Bank of Manhattan. Founded in 1887, this bank has had an important part in the growth and development of our town. While long recognized as a safe depository for funds, the First National Bank is also very much interested in the credit requirements of its customers. For example, here at his desk, J.E. Hayes, president, discusses the warehouse loan with Robert Busenberg, president of the Viking Manufacturing Company. And Mont Green is in to obtain some temporary financing on the new Manhattan Auditorium. Orville Burtis, a prominent rancher, discusses the current cattle situation with Vice President von Trebra. The sale of government bonds is a service performed without cost to the customer, and Cashier Duva has just completed a bond for Mrs. Saiwan. Unique among the services of the First National Bank is its travel department, specializing in airline reservations, and Bill Meek is picking up a reservation for one of his frequent out-of-town trips. There's a friendly feeling at First National. Many of the tellers have been servicing us so courteously for many years that they have become our personal friends. They're an efficient group who know our town and its problems. The First National Bank tellers, Vic Roper, Maxine Conrad, Beverly Hayes, Harriet Snyder, Marilyn Webb, and Margaret Smith, have handled approximately 1.5 million checks and deposits last year. Do they ever make mistakes? Well, not very often. This group of girls process and prove all checks and deposits. When the massive vault door is closed at night and time clocks are set, there's a complete feeling of security. The First National Bank employs several wives of Kansas State College students and servicemen. Alvin Hostetler is a vice president in charge of the personal loan department, ably assisted by Gene Kirby. Loans are granted through this department, which has helped many to buy home appliances and automobiles. Through FHA and GI regulations, many have been helped to improve and build homes that are assets to themselves and our town. All part of the service available at the First National Bank of Manhattan. In the bookkeeping and accounting department, where all checks and deposits are posted daily, the records of the First National Bank are always kept up to date. Friendly board of directors are the governing body of the bank, elected annually by the shareholders. All are local men of recognized integrity and business ability. They have always placed the best interest of the depositors and customers first in their considerations. The members of the board are P.G. Dalton, chairman, Dr. Ralph G. Ball, George I. Boone, Sam C. Charlson, Mont Green Jr., J.E. Hayes, Alvin Hostetler, Arthur A. Payne, A.E. von Trebra, B.L. Ulrich, E.I. Washington, and Blake Wareham, all your good neighbors of the First National Bank. Something new was added to Manhattan's form of city government in June 1951. Less than a month later, something new was also added to the new form of government. It was the flood and the attendant emergency. Many credited the newly adopted city manager commission form of government for the wonderful job that was done so quickly and efficiently. Mayor R.P. Martin, City Manager W.B. Avery, and D.C. Wishy are busy with the plans for the new municipal auditorium, which will house the city government departments, including the police and fire departments and city engineer. When the municipal auditorium is completed, it will hold as many as 1,500 people. The cost is being defrayed by a bond issue of $875,000. The best of materials and construction are being used so that we will have many years of practical use and pleasure within the building. Our town is very proud of the progress we are making and the look toward the future, which is our town's attitude. The change in our form of local government was just one of the many steps that show the progressive thinking of our town population. We are moving forward to better business, better schools, better homes, and an ever-increasing influx of new and congenial people to increase our industry and our population. Our town is lucky to have a local quarry and a fine, reliable business firm like the Manhattan Cut Stone Company to mine it. About 50 miles outside of Manhattan, there is fine sandstone that is used for construction in our area. It's a specialized job, and these men have the know-how. Dynamiting is carefully done so as not to damage the stone. Just loosen it, and then it's raised onto trucks which carry it back to the plant for processing. When the stone is brought back from the quarry, it is taken into the large Manhattan Cut Stone Company building, which has all the large tools and machinery necessary to make these rough stones into diamonds, as they are considered by the construction trade. For every stone is finished to perfection here and ready for use in various forms. The process is interesting, so let's go through the plant. When the stone comes from the quarry to the shop, it goes through a giant diamond-toothed saw. The saw works into the large sandstone blocks while water lubricates the blade and washes away the tiny unwanted particles of stone. A planing machine smooths the two sides of the stone at the same time. The machine can also be used to route, gouge, or face the stone into any pattern required by the architect or designer of the building that the stone is to be used for. The stone you're seeing is called onaga. This stone comes from southern Kansas and is very often called Kansas stone around our town. These machines require the careful handling and the guidance of men who know their jobs at the Manhattan Cut Stone Company. Split-face onaga stone is also used for veneers on the outside of a building. A machine in one bite breaks the stone neatly into two parts, each with the measured thickness required for veneering. While we know that the initial cost of installing or building with stone is higher in price, the Manhattan Cut Stone Company's ever-increasing business is proof that the durability and lifetime use of stone justifies its installation. All work and no play makes for a dull boy, but when you put these healthy, hardy boys out for football practice, they really get sharp. This is the place to learn a lot. This is the place to use all those muscles. We hardly ever stop to think of the many lessons our children can learn through a game. Here, in order to be on the team, you must learn to take and follow orders, a good chance to learn discipline. You must also learn that a team means just what it says, teamwork. The boys learn to work together to help one another achieve their goals. The coordination of brawn with brain is an important lesson to be learned here. All of their muscles are taught to work for them. Timing is an essential to any sport, and here too they learn that a split second can mean the difference between success or failure. They also learn to accept occasional failure, but to continue to work toward success. Yes, sports are good for the youngsters of our town. A Manhattan institution for over 31 years, the Brewer Motor Company offers every service for the motorist. The new Chevrolet, America's most popular car, is on display at Brewer's. You're invited to see and drive the all-new 1955 Chevrolet from Brewers. Here in our spacious Texaco station, open from 7 a.m. till midnight, you'll like the friendly, courteous attention and complete service that you receive. In Brewer's service department, you'll find factory-trained mechanics and the latest tools and equipment to provide you with dependable service for any make of car. When it comes to used cars, you want dependability along with low price. That's what you'll get with a Brewer's used car. Every car is completely reconditioned and sold with a written guarantee plus a 1-year battery guarantee. 40 employees at Brewer Motors serve your every automotive need. We are fortunate in our town to have an elevation of 1,011 feet. We manage to keep comfortable throughout the year. We are also lucky to be serviced by the Union Pacific Railroad. Railroads are a fascinating place to visit. Boys especially like to watch the activity around the yards. But mostly it takes efficient and well-trained people, thorough in their jobs and interested in their work, to keep such a record of safety as our railroads enjoy in this country. They're improving their service every day. It's a pleasure to travel in the clean, air-conditioned, foam rubber comfort, and it's also a comfort to know that our freight will reach its destination on time when it travels by rail. There is so much in Manhattan. It's a city with good industry and good schools. It's a lively town with enough amusement to help us forget the cares of the day. We live in a progressive, ever-growing town. We like to live here, for this is our town, Manhattan, Kansas, USA.